group presentation, I choose to focus on Japan as my selection country. Japan is well known not only for its advanced technology and rich tradition, but also for its unique and respectful business culture. When it comes to working with people from different countries, especially in a business setting, it's very important to understand their way of thinking, their behavior, and how they interact with others. Every culture is a different, and what works in one country might not work in another. Okay, in Japan, people place a lot of importance on respect, harmony, and teamwork, whether it's in daily communication or in professional meeting. They prefer to maintain good relationship and avoid conflict. This means the people often speak politely, avoid saying no directly, and take time to listen before responding. Even silence is sometimes used as a form of respect or carefully thinking. Okay, one of the most interesting about Japanese culture is that many things happen quietly in the background. For example, before making any big decision or taking the action, there are usually private discussion and agreement among team members. This shows how much they value group unity and careful planning as someone who studies this topic. I found it very interesting how different it is from what we usually see here in Malaysia. In our culture, we often speak more openly or decide things faster, but in Japan, the process is more about building trust and taking time to reach a shared understanding. So, in my part of the video, I will share more about how this culture approach works in practice. I hope it helps us all better understand how to connect with Japanese people and work with them respectfully and effectively.
Presenting key negotiation tips and the process commonly followed in Japan, which is known for its formal relationship-based business culture. So the first one for negotiation tips, we have build relationship first, which is trust and personal rapport are essential in Japan. Initial meetings often focus more on connection than on closing deals. Second one, we use direct communication. Japan is a high context culture, silence, body language, and subtle phrasing are important. Don't expect direct answers or quick decisions. So the third one is show respect and humility. Formality matters. Proper greetings, bowing, and polite language go a long way. And then for fourth, which is avoid confrontation, saying no directly is uncommon. Instead, phrases like "we'll consider it" might be good. And then we go to the fourth, which is avoid confrontation. Saying no directly is uncommon. Instead, phrases like "we will consider it" may signal disagreement. And the last one is expect group decision making. Japanese companies rarely rely on one individual to make final decisions. Consensus is crucial, which can make the process slower but more stable. And then the third one is internal consensus, which is ringgit system. Proposals are circulated internally for approval from multiple levels, and this step is slow but ensures full alignment. The fourth one, formal negotiation. Discussions are structured, polite, and cautious. Long-term cooperation is prioritized over short-term gain. And the last is final agreement. Once consensus is reached, the commitment is strong and reliable. For conclusion, negotiating in Japan requires patience, cultural sensitivity, and a strong emphasis on respect and harmony. Understanding these cultural norms helps build long-term successful business relationships.
Bargaining behavior in Japan and how cultural factors shape the way negotiation typically unfold there. Japan has a unique negotiation style rooted in its cultural values such as harmony, respect, and group consensus. Second, consensus building. Decisions are rarely made by one individual. The process involves group consultation and consensus, meaning negotiation may take longer as internal discussion happen behind the scene. Third, high level of preparation. Japanese counterparts typically enter negotiation very well prepared. They expect the same from you and appreciate detailed documentation and logical arguments. In Japan, bargaining is approached with patience. Negotiators usually avoid aggressive tactics or direct confrontation. Instead, the process is formal, polite, and often slower than in Western countries. Here are some common behaviors. First is indirect communication. Japanese negotiators often avoid saying no directly. Instead, they might say they may be difficult, which is a polite way of declining. It is important to read between the lines. Number 4, non-verbal cues matter. Silence is not uncomfortable in Japanese culture. Pause are used for reflection. Maintaining a calm and respectful tone is crucial. Last, long-term relationship focus on Japanese place great emphasis on building trust and long-term relationship. Negotiations are not just about closing a deal, but about establishing mutual respect and future cooperation. Next is group orientation, collectivism. Japan collectivity society means decisions reflect the interests of the group rather than the individual. That is why negotiators often consult with their team or company leadership before making a decision. Second is hierarchy and respect. Age, rank, and seniority play important roles. Negotiation usually involves senior figures who expect difference and polite language. Third, face-saving culture. Maintaining face is critical. Public disagreement, pressure tactics, or raising your voice can cause embarrassment and damage the relationship. Always aim to avoid causing the other party to lose face. The last point is harmony. Harmony is a guiding principle in Japanese society. Negotiation should maintain a peaceful and respectful tone. This discourage hard bargaining and encourage win-win outcomes. To sum up, bargaining in Japan is less about assertiveness and more about respect, passion, and relationship building. Understanding and adapting to these cultural norms can greatly increase the chance of a successful negotiation with Japanese partners. This is so nice. Can I get this one?
How much is this?
70.
Wait, let me ask the staff first if we can get less price. Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask? This one is 70 ringgit. Can I get below than 70?
Cannot, sir, because the price already fixed.
Oh, I see. But I already buy many things. Can I get below than 70?
Can, sir. Because of you already purchased many things, more than the 3 things, you can get discount from us.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Muhammad Akiman, and in this part of video, I'll be share about how people in Japan communicate, especially in business. Okay, the first point is Japanese people don't always speak directly. In Japan, people often speak in a direct way. They don't usually say no directly. For example, if they don't agree with something, they might say it's a bit difficult, or they may just stay silent. This is not good, and it's part of their culture. They try to be polite and respectful, and they want to avoid hurting someone's feelings or causing embarrassment. Okay, this is called saving face. Okay, the second point is silence is normal. In many cultures, silence feels awkward, but in Japan, silence is okay and sometimes even a good thing. For example, if you are in a meeting and someone stay quiet for a while, it doesn't mean they are angry. It will mean they are thinking carefully before they speak. Silence can also show some respect. So don't rush to feel the silence. Just wait, and it shows that you respect them too. Okay, I will go to the next point, which is the third point: being formal and respectful. Japanese people are very formal, especially in business. When they greet each other, they usually bow instead of shaking hands. For example, like this. The deeper the bow, the more respect it shows. They also call each by last name with san. San. For example, if someone name is Tanaka, they will say Tanaka-san. Using first name, it is too casual. Using first name is too casual unless you are very close. Also, they respect senior or older people. Okay, I will continue to the next point, which is a third point: being formal and respect. Japanese people are very formal, especially in business. When they greet each other, they usually bow instead of shaking hands. For example, like this. The deeper the bow, the more respect it shows. They also call each other by last name with san. For example, if someone name is Tanaka, they will say Tanaka-san. Using a first name is too casual, unless you are very, very close. Also, they respect senior or older people. If you are in a group, usually the oldest or most senior person will speak first, and others will wait. Alright, now I will continue to fourth point. Because I'm wearing umbrella because I feel so hot because I'm not in Japanese, I'm in Malaysia. So fourth point is meeting and discussion. In business meeting, Japanese people may not give their opinion right way. It doesn't mean they don't care, it's just their style. They like to think carefully and talk with their team after the meeting before they make a decision. This is called nemawashi, which means discussing idea quietly before making a final decision. So if they don't answer immediately, don't worry. They are just being carefully and respectful. Alright, now point number 5: avoiding conflict. Japanese people don't like open argument or disagreement. If they don't agree with someone, they won't say I disagree. Instead, they might say we will think about it, or that might be difficult. This is their way of saying no politely. They want to keep things peaceful and respectful. So the last point, and I will share tips for talking with Japanese people. The first one is speak politely and clearly. The second one, be patient, don't rush them. The third one, watch their body language and tone. The fourth one is don't interrupt silence. The last one, respect their customs like bowing and using last name. So in conclusion, for my point is communication is more about respect, harmony, and understanding. It may feel different, but it helps build strong and lasting business relationship. Alright, that's all from me. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Muhammad Shamil. Today I'm gonna talk about people in Japan make a decision, especially in workplace like companies and government office. In Japan, people really care about working together as a team. So when it comes to making decision, they don't usually leave it to just one person. Instead, they use a process called ringgit. In this process, someone from lower or middle level in the company comes up with an idea. Then they write it down in a document called a ringgit show. This document is passed around to different managers who look at and give their approval by stamping in with their personal seal called Henko. Alright, this way many people get to share their opinions before the final decision is made. Even though the top boss usually gives the final yes or no, the idea has already gone through many levels of discussion. This shows that Japan's style is more decentralized, meaning decision not just made by one person, but getting agreement from a group. There are some good things about this. For example, first, it's helped everyone feel included. Second, once decision is made, everyone support it. But also takes a lot of time because so many people are involved. So to sum up, in Japan, decision making is about teamwork, agreement. It's not fast, but it's very respectful and thoughtful. Thank you for listening.
Good morning and afternoon for everyone. Today, I'll be discussing about conflict management in Japan. A country known for an emphasis on harmony, respect and group cohesion. Conflict is approached very differently in Japan compared to many Western culture, and understanding this difference is key to working effectively across culture. In Japanese culture, conflict is generally seen as something to be avoided, not confronted. This approach is deeply rooted in traditional values such as wa, the concept of harmony and social balance. Second, tatanai versus hone. Tatanai refers to public behavior or opinion, while hone is one's true feelings. Often, tatame is used to maintain social harmony. Respect for hierarchy, age, status, and position play a major role in how conflict is addressed. Because of these values, Japanese people often go out of their way to prevent open disagreement, especially in public or professional settings. Okay, let's look at some specific strategies used in Japan to manage conflict. First, in direct communication, conflict is usually addressed rather than I disagree. Someone might say that's an interesting idea, or I see your point. Even if they don't use fully agree, tone, pause, and body language carry a lot of meaning. Non-confrontation avoiding is a common tactic and delay of a discussion or sidestepping the issue until it can be approached more delicately or until tension naturally is. Okay. For the last, in the workplace, this is culture tendency influence how conflict plays out. Employees may not voice concern directly to supervisor. Instead, feedback is often given privately into the direct channel. Foreign colleagues may misinterpret this as being passive and unassertive, but in reality, it reflects deep commitment to preserving team unity and mutual respect. Leaders working in Japan must be attentive to non-verbal signals, encourage safe space to private feedback, and be willing to escape in the longer trust-building conversation rather than expecting immediate direct response.
exploration has provided several key insights. First, we learn how important cultural awareness and sensitivity are when doing business internationally. Strategies that work well in one country may not be effective in another due to difference in values, communication styles, and market behavior. Second, we saw the value of adapting business model and marketing approach to local needs and preference. Finally, we recognize the role of global trends such as technology and sustainability in shaping international business practices. Reflecting on this insight, it is clear that successful international business requires more than just expanding operation. It demands a deep understanding of local context and a willingness to adapt. In today's globalized world, businesses that are flexible, culturally intelligent, and socially responsible are better positioned to build strong relationships and achieve long-term success across borders.
This meeting I've been to, I think we've had 2 meetings while I've been away, so this is a bit of a chance for me to catch up.
In real life, the challenge comes in handling meetings where there are different styles brought to the table at once. We were allowed to film a meeting of joint venture partners in Indonesia as it happened. The consortium includes 2 major Indonesian companies, a Japanese and an Australian one. Following their usual practice, this meeting of the operational management team is chaired by the most senior Australian manager.
Operations plan. So if we can identify, and I'm sure we will, identify issues that
We interrupted the meeting to ask the Japanese about differences in the way meetings are run in their own country.
日本では会議を指導するといいますか引っ張っていくのは、司会者というのがいるんですけども通常は若い人ですねいわゆる例えば係長クラスであるとかそういう若いクラスの方がその会議の中でそういう司会者的な会議を引っ張っていくようなやり方をやるんですが
こちらだと例えば今の会議でうちの場合はアランさんが一番トップということで主導権を持っていろいろな議事を進められるとそれからコメントもダイレクトに出てくると日本のやり方とこちらのやり方というのが非常に違うんですけども